Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome once again to Background Bites, the short little show, the offset of background noise with your boys here, Joseph.
Jack.
And Joe,
That's right. Today we are continuing covering the Disney Renaissance by looking at Pocahontas, released in 1995, directly after the greatest movie ever, Lion King.
that darn right it is.
hmm let's see, Joe. Why don't you open us up with a little synopsis? This one might actually be necessary because, I'll be honest, I think this was the beginning of the not decline, but sort of the I don't think too many people have seen. It's not like the indie hit Pocahontas. No, but one of the lesser popular, I'd say.
I've never
Still,
I've never heard anyone say that Pocahontas is their favorite Disney movie. We'll put it that
exactly.
Favorite.
Yeah.
So I actually realized when I watched this to recap for this episode that I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. I've seen all of the movie at different points in my life, but I've never seen it like all the way through. So to start us off, we have the members of the Virginia Company getting ready to set out from England to North America. The ones that we care about are John Smith and the other people. Basically, John Smith is the heroic adventuring type, blonde hair, blue eyes. Fought a bunch of people and super tough, cool, and awesome. And then we cut over to in the New World, where we have Pocahontas in her village doing village tribal-y things. You get it. So you got to get the juxtaposition of the two worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You get the two that come together, where the members of the Virginia Company immediately start digging for gold with a reasonably catchy song called Mine. Very appropriately named Mine. And we see Pocahontas, who's like trying to figure out what this dream of hers means, and eventually leads her to meeting John Smith. They meet. They seem to be getting along together with a little bit of disagreement. Like they don't immediately come into alignment, and then they kind of figure each other out. And then I think they meet a couple times. There's at least one point where the Native Americans and the Englishmen have met each other, have encountered each other, and are now engaging in hostilities. So John Smith and Pocahontas have to sneak out of their respective villages in order to meet each other again, which ends up resulting in Smith being captured by the Native Americans, and they're going to kill him as like a sacrifice before they go to battle to kill off all the Englishmen. And Pocahontas throws herself dramatically on his body to say, "Oh, if you're going to kill him, you have to kill me first." And that tells her father that she actually really likes this guy, and therefore that means he should kill him, obviously, because that's all you need to know, right? If your daughter really likes someone, that's good enough reason for you not to kill them. And then everyone is suddenly okay with not fighting, except for, what's the guy's name? What's the
Governor Ratcliffe?
Governor Ratcliffe, except for Governor Ratcliffe, who is just a grade a-hole. And so he tries to shoot someone, and he accidentally shoots. He tries to shoot the chief of the Native American village, accidentally shoots John Smith instead. And so now he's like kind of dying, and they have to take him back to England. And that's the end of the movie, I guess. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. And it's, to be honest, I don't know exactly where to start other than, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could probably be the description of most of the movie. It's, I mean, of course, Disney's animation team is pulling out all the stops in terms of this feels like I would say closer to maybe one of the old styles, not like old styles as in it's dated, but like it's almost like a watercolor painting brought to life kind of feel. So that's the big thing that I really like about, Pocahontas, and I don't know, the rest is just okay. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, the art style is closer to like Snow White than it is to Lion King, maybe.
Yeah.
it's just interesting because you watch it, and I was thinking about this, I was talking to some people about it, because you have just the look of it, the scenery is very pretty, the colors and all that, it look great, but you look at the character designs in particular, you compare that to the last Disney film with humans, Aladdin, the character designs look very different, almost look muted compared to that. Like I mean, I guess you could say it looks more adult, and I could almost let you get away with that if it was a more adult story, but it's not. And so it was just interesting because it almost looks like they took a step back, like Joseph and you were saying, Joe, that it looks more, the design almost looks more like a classic like Snow White or Sleeping Beauty, something like that, versus something like Aladdin. It doesn't look like the Disney peak animation that we've seen from these past 2 or 3 films that we've gotten with the Renaissance.
I think the closest in terms of interesting character design and touching back on it's like, oh yeah, if it was a more like serious film, it's like this one kind of tries to be almost, because it's got like the heavier themes, like, oh yeah, greed, war, whatever, but then it's chock full of the same amount of plucky animal sidekicks as any other regular Disney film. One of them voiced by the Crypt Keeper, which of course I have to bring that up.
This is the one where I feel like the plucky animal sidekicks were the most annoying so far, maybe. I mean, we might end up having worse ones later on, but so far it's like, do we need these? Do we need the raccoon and the hummingbird and the dumb lapdog? Like, what do these add to the story other than silly jokes for the kids?
Toys for,
vital, merchandising.
Yeah.
They add merchandising. That's what they add.
It might have just been that I was watching with my siblings, but going back and rewatching this, I actually had a lot of fun with the animals. Like, I thought the dog Percy, I thought he was funny, and I think he was Miko was the raccoon.
I think so.
Yeah, I personally thought they were very funny and added to the movie some comic relief that was nice, but I don't know. It might have just been me.
It's not that they're bad. It's just that I don't think they fit.
Well,
it's like in The Lion King, right? Because we're going to compare, because we're watching these back to back. We're going to compare. Like, the comic relief characters are Timon and Pumbaa, right? But Timon and Pumbaa serve an essential role in the story. The story does not happen without them, really, because without them, they don't give Simba the alternate perspective that allows him to kind of grow up, and then he has to pick between, is he going to go back or is he going to stay, right? But I don't think
should he stay or should he go?
Yeah, exactly. Well, hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself there, Jack. But I don't think that what does the raccoon add to the story other than him being cute and funny?
The most, I guess, a stretch we could go with, it's, I don't know, he breaks the ice between Pocahontas and John Smith.
He's a matchmaker.
Sure.
Wheeler and dealer, if you will.
That's right.
I will say...
And that could just be accomplished by them, I don't know, just talking to each other.
Yeah, treating each other like human beings.
Human beings.
Human beings? Oh boy, human beings.
Well, what's interesting, talking about the animals, is just going to a more general part of the movie. The fantastical elements of the story in this film aren't consistent because you have the animals don't talk, but the tree grandma talks and can move her limbs and all that. That doesn't really seem to make sense. And she can suddenly make... she almost has the abilities of the TARDIS in Doctor Who, where she can make people understand the other person's language without actually speaking it.
Except, so, like, at the start of the movie, John and Pocahontas understanding each other seems like it's a big deal. Like there's magic and they're listening to their hearts or some nonsense.
Right.
But then at the end, when the chief guy is talking, everybody understands him, including all the Englishmen. How?
That doesn't sound right. Unless the grandma tree is just that powerful, in which case she needs to be stopped.
Right. Like, if she's that powerful, then why are there even problems in this world?
Exactly.
So, I think so. Well, Jack and I were talking before we started recording that this story is a worse version of the Little Mermaid. Like we have the young girl who is like the princess, right? Like technically it's not a kingdom, but whatever. She's the princess because she's the daughter of the person who's the leader of the tribe,
Mm-hmm.
and she, she knows the rules, but she doesn't want to follow the rules. She wants to go and be with the people that are from a different world than her own world. And then the dad is all upset and he gets angry about that. But then eventually he learns the error of his ways, and it all comes out good in the end. Right? Like that's both the Little Mermaid and Pocahontas, but Little Mermaid did it so much better. So much better.
Yeah, pretty much. They're putting more thought into it. So yeah, they are near carbon copies, except I would say this one's got a better villain. Same amount of like sidekicks as well, isn't it? Except they don't talk, of course.
I probably need to disagree on the villain. I think the villain's a bit much, and I mean, like, I literally forgot his name until you mentioned him again. I didn't think he was. I mean, he was definitely bad. You could tell he was a villain. It wasn't like he was confusing who the villain was, but just compared to the other ones in their iconography, this guy never makes it to Mickey's. What is it? Like the classic, like the direct DVDs, Mickey's Funhouse, where the villains take over. I don't think he was included, and I think there's a reason for that.
You said he's too much. He's simultaneously too much and not enough. Like at the same time, he's too much of all of the wrong things and not enough of the stuff that makes the Disney villains cool.
Yeah.
Right. He's over the top and he's flashy and he's like, and he's got his cape and everything and he's like being ridiculous, but he's not intimidating. He's not imposing. He's not really threatening until like maybe there's one scene where he's kind of like cast in a dark, ominous, shadowy light. And you're like, okay, but you're just a human. You're just a dude. Ursula's over there. She can turn into a giant octopus that can crush ships that are smaller than her tentacles. And you're just a dude.
But he's a very angry dude.
Yeah, he's a very angry, bitter dude because he was shunned at court or some nonsense. I don't know. It's a little silly.
Yeah, there was a lot they really could have done with it. I suppose I really only liked him because he's voiced by a popular character. Well, popular to me character actor.
Oh, that's fair.
Fair. I do think it's kind of funny that I think I can't remember. I think it's Mel Gibson who voices John Smith. What is funny is I think he is the only person who doesn't have a British accent.
All right, Mr. Gibson, you're John Smith, the quintessential historical Englishman. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah. I don't have to do an accent, do I? Well, we'd prefer if you did. I'm not doing an accent. Okay.
Oh.
Sure. Hey, please don't give me a phone call.
True story.
And that's how it happened, folks.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you heard it here. I was actually playing that off of my phone. It was another leaked tape, just like that phone call.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't impress me. It's just kind of like you said about Radcliffe. It's just like, I mean, it's just not, I guess, distinct. And no, distinct's not a good word because you can have a bad performance and it be distinct. It's not. I don't know. It's just not.
He's not enough of a distinguished gentleman.
No. These people don't look at him and say, "Look at this distinguished gentleman. Look at how he sits." And yeah, it's very nice.
Well, it's like Disney does it best when they're doing these like really archetypal, big, bold characters, like villain and heroes and villains. Like they're the most mythological archetypal versions. Like Lion King. We talked about again. We're going to compare because we talked about this last week. Like Lion King is a very archetypal story, right? And all of the characters are like played to the fullest of that. And this is like Pocahontas is okay. You know, you can see the archetype there, but it's not enough. It's not enough of what it's supposed to, of it's trying to be.
Yeah. I guess we should probably point out what our favorite songs was, or what we say are the best song, or was the best song.
None of them. All of them were awful.
Wow.
There. Well,
so
savage.
Speaking of,
yeah,
that was the actual best song.
Yes. So because the movie is trying to be more adult, right? It's trying to be. I do think that Savages is the best song because it's showing you how there's these two sides and they're exactly the same in the fact that they are. Neither of them is willing to look at the other as humans, right? They're not willing to treat each other like people, and they need to figure out how to do that. And so it's a very interesting idea, but the movie needs to. It's simultaneously too childish and not adult enough to. It's not simultaneously too childish and too adult, and so this theme doesn't work. But the Savages song is very good.
Yeah.
So
I think personally, Colors of the Wind is the best, but Savage is a close second for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are the only two I remember, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Have you ever asked the grinning bobcat why he grins?
All the time, Joe.
Okay.
It's one of life's great mysteries, honestly.
Then you're allowed to like that song.
Okay, cool.
Oh, man.
And I don't think Pocahontas learned anything.
No.
I don't think anyone did. I mean, yeah, they I'm using air quotes again, made peace, but it's like, really? Did we really?
Yeah. The only... Because even the dad said he would be willing to listen to the Englishman at the beginning. So it's not like he needed to learn anything. He just needed to not be angry. So he didn't even learn anything. So nobody learned anything.
The audience learned not to be angry.
Yeah.
Exactly. The audience learned only to watch this once.
Yes. Yep. That's the takeaway.
You can watch the YouTube Vivo videos for Colors of the Wind and Savages, and you're good to go.
Yes. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it was listed as under Disney Plus. Just those two things. Actually, I have to go find a VHS copy to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you dare.
If you dare. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, better than Rescuers, but not saying much.
I was about to say that's we compared to the bottom of the barrel. It's a ring.
But Rescuers is still better than Eternals.
Oh,
Jack, you need to stop bringing up Eternals.
We went a whole show.
But just in case people are forgetting and they're thinking, oh, maybe Eternals is better than Rescuers. Nope, we need to make that clear. We never said that. We cannot. They cannot.
Let the record state.
Saying that. Yeah, exactly.
Both Pocahontas and Rescuers are better than Eternals, but that isn't a sign of endorsement.
No.
We'll get out the chart eventually, but before we do, I would say this. I don't know. Do we have any more glaring things? And it better not be about the Eternals. I'm looking at you, Jack.
I think I've had my say.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any much more to talk about.
Yeah, but we've said our piece. Yeah. Bad intro, just like the end of the movie, or bad outro, just like the end of the movie.
Yeah, right.
No, but anyway, thank you very much for joining us this week on Background Bites. Next week we are going into hopefully a higher note with. Okay, someone come in. I forgot already.
I think it's Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yep,
oh,
Hunchback
much
of
higher
Notre Dame.
note. Yes, much higher note indeed. All right, definitely tune in for that one. Tune into the Stranger Things Season 1 Background Bite episode. That's going to be coming either coming soon or coming out or already out or something.
I mean, since we're releasing these like a week later, they're sort of on a delay. You'll hear it at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so was it edit that out? So make sure to watch Stranger Things now or when it comes out.
You might have already heard from us.
It's true.
But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and just have a savage day.
Come on, Joseph. You should have said this is Joseph savagely signing off.
No, you do that one.
No, I'm done.
That's it. Call it a wrap.